San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria expressed hope and optimism for the city in the coming year last night as he delivered his third State of the City address, the first in person. Mayor Todd Gloria is joining us here in studio tonight. Thank you as always. We've got a lot to get to. Of course, first we want to congratulate you on the Antonio Villaraigosa Award that you're receiving. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we have our mayor's convention next week in Washington, D.C., and it's an award they give to a mayor they want to recognize, and I'm humbly going to accept that in the name of Antonio Villaraigosa, the former mayor of L.A., obviously a Latino mayor, and that's part of this recognition. So it's an honor. I always love to bring some laurels back to San Diego, bring some more eyes here, and hopefully some more investment.
Congratulations on that. He did say, don't ask me about that when I said I was going to, but we have to. Got to go right into it. You talked about homelessness last night. Hard to ignore. It's such a huge problem that we're dealing with. You talked about the housing shortage being one of the core issues here. That's going to take time to impact our society. So what is going to happen now? Tell us about the executive order you just issued and how that's going to help out now.
Yeah, well, I mean, at its core, our homeless crisis is an expression of our affordable housing crisis. And yes, it will take a while, but the city shouldn't be one of the reasons why it takes a while. My executive order that we announced last night is telling our staff that they must permit 100% affordable housing projects within 30 days. That current process is about 6 months in time. I'm telling staff to get it done in 1 month. If this is an emergency and a crisis, and I believe that it is, and I think San Diegans agree, then we should treat it as such. And this is one way to expedite the process. These projects need to get underway as quickly as possible, and the city should be helpful in that regard, not a deterrence.
We have various measures to try to get people off the streets and into shelters right now, but the county task force recently said for every 10 people put into the system, into temporary housing, 13 people become unhoused, unsheltered. What do we do about that right now? That's a stunning number.
It is. It's real, and it's exactly why San Diegans see me and others talking about all the things we're doing on homelessness, but it doesn't seem to be getting better.
Right.
We can house 2,200 people successfully, which is what we did as a city last year, and yet so many more people are on our streets. How do we address that? Well, some of the stuff I shared last night. One of the things that we can do is expand our homelessness prevention programs. Our housing commission currently appropriates about $2 million annually. We're going to double that to $4 million. We believe we can serve hundreds more families. These are folks who are teetering on the edge, who are one rent increase away from becoming homeless. We come in with a light subsidy, help them get stabilized, keep them from hitting the streets. Again, that's one way we can do it. Another way we can do it is our tenant protection ordinance that I'm working on with Council President Elo Rivera. This is to help clarify and strengthen some of the tenant protections in San Diego. Currently, I would argue they're relatively weak, and this is why we have the number of evictions that we're having, which are going up as the eviction moratoriums are being lifted. These folks often are evicted and end up on the sidewalk. It's a part of that 10 versus 13 number you mentioned. These are ways in the short term we can address that.
Protecting people who are financially vulnerable right now. I don't want to make this only about homelessness. We're starting to work on our care court. How soon is that going to make a difference? Because many of the people we see on the streets who are severely mentally ill, severely addicted, those people are hard to get into systems.
Right, and that's what care court's intended to address. You know, these are people who are currently just not captured by the system because they refuse the services, even though we know that they need help. Care court is San Diego County is one of the first counties to adopt this. We will implement it later this year, which is fantastic. But Carlo, that's only a small portion of the population. I'm working with a state senator right now to reintroduce conservatorship legislation. Care court can be a 2-year process as it's currently envisioned, where we start working with you and over 2 years' time, we'll decide if you can get stabilized or go into care. Conservatorship is about helping people today. Some of these folks are too sick. We can't let them be on the streets for 2 years. That would be a death sentence. That's why we're going to push to try and get that done this year. And I believe we're close to being able to get a deal to actually get it done.
Let's talk infrastructure. You made a big point of that last week. Sidewalks, street lights, parks, but people are always worried about the roads, potholes. So what's being done for that immediately?
Well, we're plowing more money into this than we ever have before, a 40% increase than we were over the previous fiscal year, with more of this being the quality repairs, not just the slurry sealing of the street, but the actual overlay. In fact, good news for you, we'll be doing that on Convoy here very, very soon in Kearny Mesa.
Looking forward to that. And the street preservation ordinance, how is that going to make a big difference in future years, do you think?
Unquestionably. Every one of your viewers see this. They see a street that has been freshly paved and then dug up only a few weeks or months later and then never repaired back to standard. Every time you see these cuts that are in the middle of the street. They're perfect lines, which is exactly where potholes start.
Sure.
What we're going to say is to utilities that want to dig up our streets, they got to put them back the way that they were found or better. This has not been done before. I believe we can get this through the City Council in the next number of weeks. And what we anticipate is 25 miles of additional high-quality road repair just in the next fiscal year alone, with more in the future years.
Seems like such a common sense measure. If you break it, you fix it. But getting this codified is important. Okay, rapid fire today. Green recycling bins are going out. How are they being received? Because a lot of people are hesitant. It's new. People fear change.
They do. But you know, I remember this with with blue cans.
Yeah.
You're like, well, that's going to take more space in my yard. San Diegans will adapt. This is important for our environment. This kind of material that is put in our landfill creates methane gas, which is released into our atmosphere and is changing our climate. This is a way that each of us can help to reduce that and preserve what's wonderful about San Diego, which is our climate.
Are people participating?
Well, we're rolling them out this week.
Okay,
so folks
I thought
are just
some
now
had been
getting
delivered. They're just getting this week?
Just this week, starting on Monday. And so stay tuned. There's going to be some pails in your kitchen and some green cans in your driveway.
We're going to follow up on that. SDG&E rates. We were paying the highest rates in the country last year.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Absolutely. It's gotten so much worse. What can the city do?
Relatively little. I mean, we're in the same position as ratepayers. We pay bills. We have facilities. We have electric bills, energy bills, gas bills, and so we're in this. This is regulated by the California Public Utilities Commission. And what I would say to San Diegans who are struggling with these bills is to reach out to SDG&E. There are care programs to try and help defray some of these costs, but to weigh in with the regulators, which is the state of California, and tell them that we don't want this and that we want this to be looked at. I saw on the way here tonight that there's some study that's going to be performed. You know, that's great, but we want to see action. And I'll tell you, as the mayor of this city and someone who writes a big bill, a check to the utility to provide services, the more money we give them is less money for road repair, for homelessness, for housing affordability. So we all have an interest in trying to keep rates down.
Almost out of time, just a few seconds left, but OB Pier, what are we going to do with that? Because this series of storms is just highlighting an existing problem. Yeah. It's rinse and repeat. It's closed down right now. It's damaged. Yeah. It's going to have a lot of money thrown into it. Is there a long-term plan?
There is. We intend to replace the OB Pier. We got some state funding this past year, thanks to Senator Atkins, to begin the work to do that. That's years out, so we'll continue to assess the safety. Right now it's not safe to go out there, but as soon as our lifeguards give us the okay, we'll reopen it. But the long-term plan is a full-scale replacement. It needs to get done. All
right. Mayor Todd Gloria, thank you for spending some of your precious time with us. We really appreciate it. Every month he joins us here in studio. We'll see you again a month from now, and congratulations again on your award.
Thank you.